Hello, sir. Yes, good morning, guys. Welcome to UPSC Mains Mission 2024 series. Today's topic is about Israel-Iran conflict. As you guys all know, there is a war happening in between Israel and Iran. There are some tensions between Israel and Lebanon, and there is also another war is happening between Israel and Hamas. Okay, so today's lecture is about how this conflict will impact India's overall interest. Okay, UPSC asks such traditional questions. It is a traditional question for UPSC. Okay, so whatever that is happening in the world, how it will impact India's overall interest will be asked in the UPSC examination. Okay, from that dimension, we are going to discuss this issue. So first thing, what is the present conflict? The long-standing Iran-Israel proxy conflict escalated in 2024. Okay, there has been some issues from 1979 between Iran and Israel, because 1979 witnessed the Iranian Revolution. Okay, after that, this escalation can be seen as a continuation of animosity brewing since the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The situation has been further complicated by various regional conflicts, including the Israel-Hamas war and frequent skirmishes between the Hezbollah. Okay, Hezbollah, let's say it is an organization that belongs to Lebanon. So there are some issues because of location of the Israel. Okay, in 2024, April 1st, Israel bombs the Syria, Damascus. Okay, after that, April 13, Iranian response and border attacks on Israel. After that, on April 19, Israel retaliate these attacks with strikes. Okay, so that is happened. We are not going to discuss what are the issues in between those two countries, but we are going to discuss how it will impact overall India's interest. Okay, so when we see to the map, we here see Israel. Okay, here is Israel, here is Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. When we see overall map of the region, we can see that Iran, Israel, and all other countries are situated in the Middle East. Okay, and the Middle East today provides majority of oil imports to the India. Oil drives the energy sector, and this energy sector drives our overall economy. So if something to happen in this region, it will directly impact the oil production and oil prices. That will impact our energy security. That will impact our overall economic growth and overall economic development. Okay. So first, the potential escalation or continuation of conflict between Israel and Iran can significantly impact India across strategic, economic, and political dimensions. So we are going through these three dimensions, how it will impact strategically for India, how it will impact economically as well as politically. Okay. So first thing, we now focus on, let's say, a mind map, strategic interest. There are three strategic interests that will get impacted. First thing is energy security. Second thing, maritime security. And third thing, Indian diaspora. Energy security, because we depends on Middle East for oil and gas. Okay, a warlike situation or disruptions in the Middle East will ultimately affect our oil supply, and it will increase or shoot our energy prices. Okay, that is the area of concern for India. Second thing, it will also impact the maritime security because Iran lies on Strait of Hormuz, right? In a warlike situation, there is always a blockade or mining of the seas in Strait of Hormuz that will impact the shipping lines, that will impact the transportation through seas. It ultimately leads to higher energy imports and exports as well. Third thing is Indian diaspora. Large Indian population in Middle East. Safety and economic conditions are at risk. Potential evacuation scenario will also exist. Impact on foreign remittances that stand around 100 billion per year. Okay, so these are some issues that India is going to face in strategic interest. Now, economic interest. We have trade relations with Israel as well as Iran. We get military and security tech from Israel. We get oil and other commodities from Iran. And if these two guys go for a full-scale war, then there will be difficulty to acquiring military and security tech from Israel as well as oil and other commodities from Iran. And if we don't get these items, our economic growth in short and midterm will ultimately get affected. Okay. After that, investment flows will also get impacted. Geopolitical tensions deterring the investment. Investment always flows if there is a, let's say, there exists some peace, right? Because risk associated with that investment increases in case of war, right? Unstable business environment for Indian companies in the region. Third thing is oil prices. Global oil prices will spike, increased import bill for India, balance of payment impact for India, and it will lead to ultimately domestic inflation. Right? After that, political interest. We have to consider the political interest as well. First thing is international alignments. Okay, we can't, let's say, approach these two countries. Okay, right now that we are approaching, right now how we are approaching these two countries, we can't approach with the same attitude to these countries, because everyone, let's say, every country will try to accommodate India's opinion from their perspective, right? And it will create a negative impression on other party. Let's say Israel is accommodating the India's perspective, then Iran will think that India is going to support the Israel and not us. That ultimately leads to decrease in oil supplies from the Iran. Oh, okay, so this scenario exists there, right? So we need here balanced diplomatic approach, strong partnership with Israel, but we also have historical ties with Iran. Okay, so it will be difficult. It will be difficult to navigate the diplomatic stance between these two countries. Second thing is domestic political implications also exist in case of India, because India has a large Muslim population which always follows the news, always follows the events that are happening in the Middle East. Okay, it will lead to potential communal harmonial impact and influence on political discourse. It also creates, let's say, some internal security issues for India as well. Another thing is United Nations and multilateral engagement. Membership in international bodies, non-permanent member of UN Security Council, compelled to take positions and mediate between these warlike situations. Okay, so overall, we have to have some diplomatic stance, right? So what should be our response strategies? First thing is diversification of energy resources. Okay, reduce the dependence on energy resources from this region. Second thing, following the strategic non-alignment policy, following the ideology of strategic non-alignment. And third thing is diplomatic engagement. Okay, so now we are going to discuss this mind map in detail. Just focus on the language, how I written all these things. Okay, focus on the language, just copy paste that in your final answer, right? So strategic interest, first thing is energy security. India is heavily dependent on Middle East for its oil and gas needs. Approximately 80% of India's oil imports come from Middle East. Any conflict that threatens the stability of this region could lead to disruptions in oil supplies, increasing the energy prices, affecting India's energy security. Okay, this is area of concern for India. Anything that happens in Middle East ultimately leads to damages to our energy security. Okay, keep that always in mind. Second thing is maritime security. The Strait of Hormuz, a crucial choke point for global oil shipment, sees a significant maritime traffic from India. Conflict involving Iran, which borders this strait, could lead to blockade or mining, posing risks to India's energy imports as well as India's exports. Third thing, Indian diaspora. There is a substantial Indian population Working in Middle East, including the Gulf countries, a regional conflict could jeopardize their safety, economic conditions, potentially leading to challenging and costly evacuation scenario. Okay. And most importantly, this will also impact foreign remittances back home, which total around 100 billion per year, which are the highest in the world. Okay, in case of foreign remittances, India stand first. Okay, India gets most of the foreign remittances for last year. These stand around $100 billion. Okay, in case of warlike scenario, in case of geopolitical tensions in this region, our foreign remittances will get affected. This same scenario happened in 1990s during Gulf War, and that led to overall economic reforms in India. If you remember the LPG reforms, the background of LPG reforms. Okay, so the situation has happened already in case of India. We try to avoid such scenarios. Okay, then for economic interest, India has trade relations with both Israel and Iran. While India imports military and security technologies from Israel, it has also maintained a trade relationship with Iran, including oil and other commodities. Sanctions on Iran, influenced by its conflict with Israel, complicate India's ability to engage economically with Tehran. Okay, Tehran or Iran. It will impact overall economic interest. Second thing is investment flows. Increased geopolitical tensions can deter investment flows into the region, affecting India's political interest. Indian companies engaged in Middle East could face unstable business environment, impacting their overall investment strategies. Third economic interest is oil prices. Sustained conflict can cause global oil prices to spike, increasing India's import bill, affecting its balance of payment. Okay, same situation that we faced in 1991. Higher energy cost would also contribute to domestic inflation, impacting economic growth and stability. Okay, we try to avoid the inflation like situation, right? After that, political interest, international alignment. India maintains a balanced diplomatic approach in Middle East. Okay, it has developed a strong strategic partnership with Israel while also fostering historical ties with Iran. We do have a strategic partnership with Israel. An escalated Israel-Iran conflict would pressure India to navigate its diplomatic stance carefully, possibly forcing it to tilt one way. And if this happens, it will negatively impact the India's growth. It will negatively impact the India's overall interest in this particular region, which could have repercussions for its border foreign policy. Okay, after that, domestic political implications. There exist also some domestic political implications. The large Muslim population in India closely watches the country's stance towards Islamic countries or towards Middle East countries. Any perceived alignment with Israel over Iran could have domestic political repercussions, influencing communal harmony as well as political discourse within India. Okay, it will create a not a peace-like situation in India. Third thing is United Nations and multilateral engagements. As a member of various international bodies, including non-permanent member of United States Nations Security Council, India might be compelled to take a position or mediate in the conflict, impacting its international relations and standing. Okay, so what should we do? What should be the response strategies? UPSC also asked in such scenarios, what should India do? Okay, so response strategies, first response strategy will be diversification of energy sources. To mitigate the risk to its energy security, India might accelerate its efforts to diversify the energy sources, including increasing its investment in renewable energy, right? So try to bring some current affairs as well. Okay. Let's say India is focusing positively in this direction. India has recently launched the Suryodaya Yojana. Okay, that will popularize the renewable energy, specifically solar energy, right? And it will ultimately reduce the dependence on foreign oil for energy demands. Second thing to do is strategic non-alignment. India is likely to continue its policy of strategic non-alignment, attempting to maintain good relations with both Israel and Iran, as well as other stakeholders in the Middle East. Always remember, Try to bring some standard keywords. Try to write some standard keywords in your answer. It will validate your answer. Always remember that. Okay, it will refine whatever you are writing. After that, another response strategy will be diplomatic engagement. India could use its growing international influence to advocate for peaceful resolution and engage in diplomatic efforts to stabilize the region, aligning with its broader vision of being a responsible global actor. Okay. After that, right. So this is the total issue, right? We are not going in details of what is happening between Israel and Iran. We are going in detail how it will impact the India's interest. Okay, India's interests are codified. First thing in strategic interest, second economic interest, third political interest, and what should be our response strategies. Okay, in this particular scenario. I hope you all get whatever I am trying to teach here. Okay, you will get these PDF on Nandip Academy's Telegram channel. We also publish this same article in our Super 20 magazine. Super 20 magazine. The magazine is available. The magazine's soft copy is available on same Nandip Academy's Telegram channel. If you are in Pune, you can visit our office, okay, and you will get a free copy, a free hard copy of Nandip Super 20 magazine. Okay, on this good note, I will stop here. Thank you.